Okay, hello, Tyler Bryden here. I hope everything's going well. I have returned from Burning Man safely, happily, successfully. That feels very good. It was a pretty wild year. On the way home, I was thinking, like, what's the best way I could just sort of share a little bit of this experience? And instead of doing all into one video, I've sort of broke it into a couple, one on weather, one on Exodus, one specifically on art, one on music. This is more of an overall comprehensive sort of personal experience of Burning Man. If you're interested in the other videos, feel encouraged to check them out. Otherwise, I will start to walk through this. And I have my headphones on because there's a couple little videos that I'll play along the way. I'll try not to blast your ears with those. And then that will sort of share. I've tried to sort of put together some videos and some images in chronological order to give my perspective on it and make sense of the wild journey that it was. And so right off the top, this is my second year in Burning Man. Went first time, 2019. Amazing experience. At that time, the difference that I felt this time was that I had sort of a mental map of what Burning Man was. And obviously a lot can change in, this time from 2019 to 2022. Personally, I've changed. The world has changed a lot. I feel like a lot of people have gone through big transformations in their own lives and perspective on the world and how they operate and how they think. And so going into that, there was still some uncertainty, but there was a lot more certainty than what I had in 2019, where it truly felt like I had, even with all the research, the many, many years that I had followed it, it almost felt like I just had really no idea what I was getting myself into. And it was really nice and sort of, heartening to get there. And although things had changed and the city had shifted around and art was all different and all of this stuff, the Burning Man, the temple, the positions, there was a lot of sort of consistency that helped me reduce that sort of unknown that was taking place in 2019. And I think that's both a good thing and sort of not a sad thing, but like you can never relive that first experience where you have no idea what you're getting into. And so in some cases, you're sort of vicariously living through people who are having their first time experience. And there was several people directly in our camp who were having that experience. And then there were many people at Burning Man as a totality, as a whole, who were having their first experience. Definitely felt like a lot of new energy. Some people thought that was a good thing. Some people thought that was a bad thing. I'll talk a little bit more about this maybe later in the video. And so I didn't really know exactly what I had for intention setting in 2019. It was just to go and understand. In this case, because I had a little bit of that mental mapping, I did have a little bit of a intention setting. I had actually created a video for that. Honestly, I guess I could see if I share the screen here, what some of those intentions were. And one of the ones that really sticks out to me was to dance. And that was definitely something that I was grateful to be able to do. And it also changed the experience. When you create these intentions, it sort of prioritizes things and you sort of filter out things that you would have done and sort of, just sort of guides the time that you spend at Burning Man. And just quickly, I'll pull up this video. This was a little bit later in the week, but was a ton of fun. And I'll start with the volume a little lower here, and then so we were dancing. I'll say we're pretty exhausted by this point. There's me, Nakorta.
Yes, queen!
So a little bit of a snapshot of some of the dancing there. That was at a camp called Teddy's. That was actually one of my favorite spots, and we had some great times in there. I was a little tired and tight with the kurta on there, but a previous night in the same place, I had really lived up to that intention. And so, in 2019, I was sort of breaking through this sort of rigid, sort of hockey-like, sort of egotistical, masculine structure, and I really felt embarrassed and ashamed dancing. And after that experience in 2019, I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. And so I did have this desire to return and just dance to my fullest in 2022, and I'm very grateful to say that that was done. A lot of cathartic moments, some moments where I know literally just like burst out in tears dancing. An amazing moment with Infected Mushrooms playing sort of this remix of The Pretender by Foo Fighters, and just a wonderful moments at a sunrise, sunset with the Mayan Warrior and Robot Hearts, and just also just dancing and celebrating with the camp that we were at. And one thing that I'll say is, depending on the camp that you're at, that can make a huge difference on the experience that you have. I was lucky to have a wonderful group of people who cohesively got together. Even in an RV, there was a couple, we didn't really know each other that well. There was a couple connections there, but generally a pretty disparate group, including myself and Vatsal. And Vatsal being my business partner and a great friend who is having his first experience, and I'll touch on that a little bit more as well too. And in a place that there could be a lot of tension and there's difficult times that people are going through, and a lot of money being spent and all this stuff to get there, I was so happy and impressed by just the cohesiveness and the lack of tensions, and just the community that was built so quickly, the friendships that were built so quickly. And so I think that's a big part of the experience, and what makes Burning Man so magical is these barriers get broken down so quickly. So I have a picture here of the actual tickets, so you can check those out. Beautiful to get those tickets. Also a lot of fear as you're going into Burning Man, that you're just like, what if I drop my ticket? What if I lose my ticket? And I know there were some problems with Burning Man this year, and sort of the late send outs of the tickets. I hope everyone made it. I'm glad everyone made it. I know there was even like ones that were voided because they were sent out different ways and everything there. So one thing that I had said that I hope to do, this was my last video before I left, off to a dusty Burning Man. See you again soon. Definitely dusty. And I did create a video about specifically the weather at Burning Man this year, which was very intense, very dusty, very hot. And one of the things I said was like, maybe I'll record a video each day. And that definitely did not happen, but I recorded a few short videos just at moments where I felt capable of. So this was right after we picked up the RV at Airbnb before Burning Man. We'll play this. Salt Lake City. We is here. Picked it up this morning. Beautiful drive into Salt Lake. Sort of mountain hillscape. Nice sunny day. It's been apparently a little dusty. I'm out of breath like the actual playa itself. That's okay. But how you feel? How you feeling, buddy? Good. Okay. No fear in his eyes right now. That's a good sign. Got ladder up on top. Nice inside. We've got like queen bed in the back. Should be a pretty smooth drive. I'll be taking the second half of the drive here, and looking forward to it. It's starting to feel real once you get the RV. Hope you have a great day. Beautiful. So you can see RV was bigger than I've ever driven. So I did a lot of driving. I split it with one person in the RV. We made it quite successfully there. Definitely a long drive. And I did talk about the Exodus in the other video. The way back was a little bit more difficult after a week of partying and having fun. Definitely a little more tiring there. I'm going to hop back just into this intention setting for a moment here, just because I think this is super interesting about having no expectations, reconnecting with the community there, and not just the community of the your friends in the RV and your camp. It's the whole Burning Man in total. And there was definitely this wonderful energy that existed because of just the time in between. And there had been some renegade burns, but this was the sort of real official Burning Man organization putting this on, and that was a beautiful thing. So a couple other things was just like being an amplifier of joy, energy, and empathy. I really do think I did that. I contributed a lot to the camp from a work perspective, but also fixing bikes and doing the mixers and everything, but just dancing and making sure everyone was taken care of and being good. And that itself felt really good, that I was capable of doing that. And it's been many years where we've just been sort of jammed in our houses and not maybe connecting with people in the same way. And so it felt good to just connect with people again, have great conversations, have laughs, and navigate through a pretty wild experience together. No problems with law enforcement, which is a great intention to have, and luckily that did not happen. I did say talking about documenting the learnings, and I don't think I did that great of a job of that, but luckily our camp sort of shares a Google Photos album, and then we're able to take from that. And what I've done is put these images together here today that I'm walking through. So I do think I experienced that a bit, and then I had a great time with my friend and coworker Vatsal. You can see a picture of Vatsal and I here, there. Yeah, that was not. I'll talk into this one later. But You know, that was Vatsal's first experience. It was definitely a huge sort of shift from, you know, the world that he's been part of before, and, you know, coming from sort of a Jain subsect sort of a religion, a lot of pretty wild things there. And I just wanted to make sure that he had a good time. And I know a lot of my friends and stuff were like, is he going to be okay out there? And I'm glad to say that he had an amazing time. You know, I wouldn't say even, you know, because of me, I did my best, but he made the best of it himself and explored and found art in his own way to experience Burning Man. And he went back, he wants to go back, he wants to do it again. And that makes me really happy. That's a great part. And then a couple of last pieces here is be a resource for those on their first experience. So I think I did that. And then connecting with people contributing to the psychedelic movement. This one I feel like I didn't do as good of a job on. In 2019, I did a lot of talks. And so I had, you can sort of see here, there's this psychedelic speaker series. I've seen a lot of these people speak before, and there's so much going on that I didn't spend as much time doing this as I did in the past. You know, in 2019, I really have delved a lot into the world of psychedelics, and I think there's still groundbreaking sort of information and talks coming out every single day. But you know, and they're reporting on this and sharing this, but for some reason I didn't feel that same attraction. Saying that, I did get to go stop in, get to see Ulrich Dahlman, Paul Stamets, and some other great people here who are contributing to the psychedelic movement. This was at Camp Mystic, and some really interesting insights there. And then I also hopped in, saw another little talk from Rick, sort of a State of the Union report. And then I also jumped in here and saw some great friends. This is David Champion here from Maya, who we've become you know, awesome friends throughout the years, and he is in Denver. So I was really happy to see him. And then this is Liana, who's been a huge part of the psychedelic movement as sort of a strategy leader. And you know, a big fundraiser for MAPS. So it was interesting to connect with them, ask some questions in this talk, and just see this was an amazing, beautiful family here who was sort of experiencing Burning Man together and showing up to some awesome things. And so I think that I didn't push myself as hard to do some of sort of the, I would say, talks, and I would say even some of the sort of meditation stuff that I did in 2019. I did some Wim Hof, I did more yoga. I don't exactly know why that was. One of them was just super hot during the day. And so, and we were staying up all night. So sometimes I didn't get out as much as those two I want. I will say I had one very intense experience where I got to have a one-on-one experience with someone I did not know, a beautiful woman, and we basically the goal was to stare a minute and a half into the eyes without blinking. And that was a really powerful, amazing, beautiful moment where I've always struggled with eye contact and averting my eyes, and it feels like when people look truly deep into me, I feel this sort of sense of shame and guilt, and almost that I'm this you know, I'm this manipulator or intruder. And to have that experience sort of, I didn't know that's exactly what I was going into, thrust upon me was really challenging, but also beautiful. And I'm still actually sort of processing that. And like, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel that way when someone looks in me in the eyes? Why do I avert eye contact? And then why was this so intense when you do it for a minute and a half? Of course, there's the part that it's a stranger. That's obviously adds the intensity. But overall, I just wish it wasn't as difficult, and I wish that I could work through that shame, that guilt, that sort of intruder feeling that I have. So definitely, even with limited sort of work doing that, you can still have some very intense experiences. And for me this year, it was definitely maybe not as transformative. I would say it definitely wasn't as transformative as the first time at Burning Man, just because of the complete no understanding of what it was going into. But the intention of having fun and the cathartic dancing and all of that was achieved. And I think that's beautiful in its own right. And I think then, you know, having 2 years being very different, you can start to say, hey, if I'm going back, here's how I want to do this the next time. So pull up a video. We, for your reference, we go from Salt Lake City. We fly into Salt Lake City, we pick up an RV there, and then we drive about 8.5 hours into the Black Rock Desert, into Burning Man. And so here is a little video.
Salt Flats.
The Salt Flats.
Just outside Salt Lake City. That makes sense. There we go. Little spin.
These glasses made it through.
Group here. I made it safe so far. Hot as hell. Saw some
Breathing hard again, of course.
tornadoes. I wouldn't classify as tornadoes, but something going on, you know. can just drive right on it. So this is like where, like, I think the fastest mile in a car was ever driven. And you can see cars out there. Past year, 2019, we saw cars actually racing, which was pretty cool. They're looking for me. I'm right here. All right. Cool. All right.
Okay, so there we are. We had a little bit of fun at the Salt Flats and just starting to see some group cohesion at that point, which was great. To take some selfies and pictures together. And again, really lucky to have some great people in the RV because you spend a lot of time there. And when there's no drama, no conflict and everything, it makes the entire experience much easier. I'll hop into this video now, which is the final stop in Fernley, just outside of Burning Man, about 2 hours outside. We're finally getting really ready. I got the RV packed, we've got all our groceries, we got everything, and we're ready to go into Burning Man.
Tyler here. Hello. Oh yeah. What's up? Classic Flying J. You can start to see some RVs basically everywhere. Most likely, if you see there's our RV. Most likely, if you see an RV, they're going to Burning Man, doing a couple last things, and then we're on our final journey in. It's like an hour-and-a-half drive, and then we've got like the actual wait at the gate, which could be quick, could be long, most likely long, but that's sort of the final big piece, and then we'll be setting up camp, which is exciting. Long journey, still lots of fun, some sitting, some waiting, some wishing, some meditating, having fun, but overall, here we go, a couple come back, there we go.
All right, very soon. Okay. But yeah.
Beautiful. Make sure I got my mic back on. So you can now see, the work has gone in. There's a lot of work, like just this, I felt that in 2019, but this time for some reason, it just felt even more intense, the amount of work that was going in. And then that was, I think, accelerated by the heat and everything there. And so while there was a level of anxiety and stress reduced, there was also a higher level that definitely took its toll early, and then once you get there and you get all set up, starts to be all worth it. And I think that's the general sort of consensus or feeling around Burning Man as a whole. So now, pop up this video. This is actually arriving at Burning Man. I think the first time after the night we set up, Vatsal and I went in the morning and did some exploring. There's the bike, beautiful scene spinning. You can see me singing there, having some fun, overall starting to settle in, and you can see just the flat ground, the beauty of Burning Man already, the desert there, the sun shining, and the art. And something really interesting I read at some point about sort of the thesis around putting it on flat desert ground is sort of convolutes your idea of time, and sort of almost maps out to like a brain model of like this flat surface. And that sounds very sort of abstract, but it's interesting when you're sort of biking from art to art. You sort of just go to the most interesting next thing, and that's a really beautiful experience. And that flat, the fact that it's just dark in the night or flat in the day, sort of abstracts distance and time and everything. And I think that's a really sort of beautiful part of the whole experience. And I'll show something. One of my best moments in 2019 was being able to do this roller disco at night. We stopped as a group, and it was a beautiful moment. In this sense, myself, I met this wonderful woman here who was rollerblading, and she asked if I could take a video of her, and so I took a video of her, and I said, "Hey, would you take a video of me? This is one of my favorite parts of Burning Man. I would love to get a video." So here's me rollerblading at the roller disco in the morning. It's pretty good ground, to be honest. It's starting to get a little hot here for sure. I got a little sweat. Oh, nice, Tyler. Nice.
Fuck yeah. You look like you got him. Got it.
Beautiful. So that's another great part about Burning Man. You know, she wanted a video, got a video, and she was more than happy to, you know, help me with getting a video that I'm really happy with how it turned out. And now I'm just gonna, those are all the videos. So I'm gonna hop through some images here and give a little bit of context and insights there, and then hopefully, you know, give you some sort of interesting things to look at. Again, not really documenting the art or specifically the music in this video, just a couple things from my personal experience. If you want, I'll be publishing those videos soon, and you can check those out. Here's a video of the actual RV group: Bryn, Mel, Noel, Natalie, myself, and then Vatsal. Vatsal, good friend, a longtime friend, co-worker. And so his first time, Natalie and Bryn's first time, and Mel had been many times. I think this might have been her fifth time, and then Noel, this was his second time. And so Noel and I had connected at the first time in 2019, and when it was his first time, but we were sort of in a little bit separate camps and RVs, and so this was an amazing way to actually connect with him, and I'm so glad that he did. Awesome people. All of these are amazing people, and what was a beautiful way to kickstart this week was a proposal from Bryn to Natalie. They've been together for almost 6 years, and just such a beautiful moment. I didn't even know them that well at this moment. I just cried, bawled my eyes out instantly. It was so emotional. It was so beautiful, right in front of the man as sort of the sun was setting. It makes me emotional thinking about it now, and I'm just so happy for them overall. Just amazing people, and an incredible way to start the week. So filled everyone with so much joy, and congratulations, Bryn, Nat. That's a beautiful moment to celebrate. There was some champagne. Sorry, Nat. There's a picture of Nat celebrating with champagne successfully or unsuccessfully, however you want to look at it. I'm going to say successfully. A great moment for us there at Burning Man, and wonderful to be a part of that experience. And that's you know, an amazing way where friends become, you know, very good friends when you have something like that. So a couple other pictures here just as I roll through. This was myself. I had put a noodle on my bike at this point because last time I couldn't find my bike very well, and the noodle was honestly, it was helpful. Everyone else's noodle sort of stood straight up. Mine was more like a tail, but it's still in many cases the noodle, because of the sort of the lightness of it, actually helped me identify it in the dark. Basket is a really important part at Burning Man. You throw some water in there because you just don't know how long you're going to be out for. So that was really helpful. Backpack, some fur. This was on the all white day, so the white party day. And then I've got, you can't see here because it's dark, or it's light, but in the dark I've got lights here, lights on my wheels. So to be sure to be sort of as lit as possible so that people can see you. There were some pretty wild dust storms where visibility was decreased significantly, and so I'm glad that I did a better job, although I still think I underprepared in seeing other people with their light. Like, I had this beautiful list of everything organized. I still think I underlit myself, and also, you know, many times you're coming back, it's been a long night, and you're like, all right, let's get into the RV, and you forget to turn the lights off on your bike, and so you can burn through some batteries pretty quick. So I recommend always prioritizing batteries as well too. So a couple other pieces here. One of the things that I did not do a good enough job was it's just sort of like scheduling or understanding where things were in advance. So for example, I wanted to see desert dwellers, and I did not. And that makes me sad because I really love them. I also wanted to see the human experience, and I sort of got caught up in the whirlwind of where our group wanted to go. In many cases, I deviated during the day, but at night, it's just so fun to be with everyone that you sort of lose track of time and you forget about these places that you're going to be in. While there is sort of this iBurn application that allows you to sort of schedule and find things, there's a lot of things that are just sort of listed like this where you don't know, they're not going to show up in the app. So if you haven't made that note, you're going to miss it. And so next time that I go, I'm definitely going to do a better job planning in advance, not just for like desert dwellers and things that I care about like that, but also some of my friends. There's one of my good friend Patrick there. I never got to see him because I didn't even know where he camped. One of my other friends, luckily I knew where he was. We got to go, I got to go see him, went to the camp and said hello. And then we had a beautiful moment at Robot Hearts and the Mayan Warrior sunrise set where, actually just the Robot Heart sunrise set where he was right in front of us, and just like, what are the chances this is that beautiful part of synchronicity at Burning Man, where I got to link up with him and dance for a bit. And I think just overall, that's one of the most amazing parts of Burning Man, which is that you maybe have these loose coordinates and times. It's like, hey, 1:15, let's meet in the back right of this where Diplo's playing or whatever, Carl Cox, whatever. And somehow you all, and people have these totems where they lift up. We didn't even have a totem for most of the week, so that's a way that people sort of identify the groups that they're with. They hold it up and you say, hey, there's for us it was a unicorn, there's my group, I can go find them through the crowd. Many cases we didn't even have that throughout the week, and as soon as we did it, basically snapped in half. But we had these amazing moments where 17 people started the night, we splintered off, and we all end up back at the same place together, all 17 of us at that loose time. That's a really beautiful moment. I think one of the best parts of Burning Man, that sort of synchronicity, that link up moment where you all come back together after your own separate journeys to dance and celebrate and cheer. And I think that's a really beautiful part of it. So I did share a couple things with sort of Vatsal here. This was a great picture of us. I'm not sure exactly where we were. Oh, we're standing up. We're high up in the air here at this point. This was late at night, and we're like 5 stories up on this building that we probably shouldn't have been climbing, but it was made to be climbing, and it was wonderful. And I've got the binoculars on, so we're scouting things out at night, and someone offered to take a picture for us, and we got a wonderful picture of us sort of glowing here in the dark. So really happy with this. As I said, you know, Vatsal and I are great friends, and this was his first experience. This was at the Robot Hearts Sunrise set. Just such an amazing time that we got to have together, and so glad that, you know, it worked out and he, you know, had the experience that he was looking for. Just trying to think, you know, I got a couple other points more towards the end of it, but a couple things that stuck out to me too, this was on a more sad note, was I think there was a lot of new energy here. There's this idea of plug and play camps where people are like just sort of renting a tent in advance and everyone's setting it up and you just come in and you party. And I think that attracts a lot of wealth and people. And I have no really problem with that. But what I found was that there was a lot, Burning Man this year was a lot more dirtier. There was a lot Moop everywhere. I picked up a lot constantly. And then there was a couple times when I went to a porta potty and there was cans and just so much stuff in it. And I think that was a really sad part for me this year. You know, as someone who really connects with the idea of Burning Man and the principles, like there was a lot of people who felt a little bit of sadness seeing that. And so I don't know what adjustments will need to be made there. I don't know how to deal with that. It was just overall felt sad. And I remember in 2019, the cleanliness of the playa, the cleanliness of the desert, and how beautiful of an experience that was. And it was really sort of sad to see that sort of jeopardized, and some people maybe not, you know, seeing dirt on the ground and not picking it up, or you know, and I'm not always perfect. I always try to do my best. But you know, I think that there was a lot of people who maybe take what Burning Man is for granted and left it sort of dirty, and that was a tough thing. So I'm, you know, interested to see the response to that, and as they sort of do post-assessment on the amount of garbage that was picked up from Burning Man, where you're supposed to leave no trace, what that actually looks like. So I'm sure there will be a report after. I know our camp really does care about that and did their best, but definitely saw that. And also, you know, maybe it wasn't everyone's fault too, but there was also just wind, storms, and dust, and things were getting blown around. And so maybe it wasn't all in people's control, but I still think it could have been done better. And I think that was a little bit sad. And on a more, you know, more fun note, as I'm sort of bringing this video slightly to a close, I would say, one of my greatest moments here, this was sort of my default state at Burning Man with binoculars looking through. So this was a sunrise set, and I would stand here, I'd take a look at binoculars, and you know, all these people around would be like, oh my God, can I check these out? And so they all, you know, got a chance to try the binoculars. We did it during some of the sunrise sets. There was a couple times literally on the actual playa, people were looking for something and they saw me with binoculars and they said, hey, can I use this? I need to find something. So I actually think it helped contribute by alleviating a large distance of travel. So that felt really good to it actually be a tool that was used. And then it was also used at the final burn. We passed it around as a camp and people around us, and you could just see the intensity of the flame and the beautiful fireworks and everything there. And so it's just a small thing made such a beautiful impact on the experience for myself, obviously personally, but for everyone else. And I really felt great about that. You can see my joy at this stage here. This was a long night. I had not slept. You can see it on my face, but I'm having fun and I'm looking through binoculars. In this case, I think they were backwards, which is hilarious because we were like zooming out on each other there and having a great time. And Bryn got this shot. Appreciate that very much, my friend. I was really happy with that. A couple last things before I sort of, close this out is just, I did have some questions of like, why am I here? And, if I would ever return back. But, as I got some, sort of talk about this in Exodus and then sort of the weather, some of the factors there. But overall, I think it was just a really challenging experience, which again, made it worthwhile, made it rewarding. And then also, once you get a little bit of sleep, once you get a little bit distance from it, that's what makes it so great. So while I had that moment of frustration and why am I here? This is so hot. This is so hard. I'm spending so much time and energy and money and all this stuff. That experience is worthwhile, to see all the joy that we had, to have those moments dancing, to connect with friends, to build these relationships, to spend time with Vatsal. All of that stuff is so worthwhile. And I'm still so glad that I actually did this. And with that being said, I do have my sort of final images here, which was finally getting back just yesterday and laying down on the bed and having my wonderful dog, Tasia, come and give me a lick. That felt so good to be back home, showered, and spending time with the people I love most, well, animal I love most, and the people I love most here with Monica. So I was really sad Monica couldn't make it. She wanted to come. Logistical issues with visa stopped her from coming, but I expect to see her on the desert in the future. Tasia, I don't think you're going to make it, sir, but we'll have good experiences for you, and we'll throw a ball or something out there for you. But very glad to be back in Port Credit. So grateful that I had the experience, grateful to be back safe, alive, healthy, excited to be seeing people share their journeys and experiences at Burning Man. And I feel like a burner. I feel like I was at home. There's lots more to learn. It was only my second year. I know I'll be back again. And if you have any thoughts or insights or, comments from your own experience, please feel encouraged to drop them. I've done my best to sort of present my experience in a way that honors the sort of principles and intentions of Burning Man. I'm not really trying to, this part that's really important to me is this sort of decommodification part. And so I'm trying to do that while sharing something that's so important and so dear to me. And I hope that I've done that good job. If for any of you who are burners or who care about that as well too, please let me know if you have any feedback of how I should have done this better or what you think. Thank you for everything. Thank you for everyone who helped build this incredible community. I'm so grateful for you, and I would truly hope to see you out on the playa one day. This has been Tyler Bryden, reporting back from Burning Man. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your year, and I look forward to some other great times together. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.